Everybody, welcome back. So a while back, you guys had probably seen me get that Thompson M1A1 kit in from Bowman Armament. You guys saw the videos of that. You can go back and reference it. It was pretty rough looking. At least I thought it was pretty rough looking. However, one of my subscribers, James Roth over at J&M Firearms, reached out to me and said, "Hey man, if you ever want to get rid of that, let me know. I'd be interested. Possible trades, whatever." So anyway, I met James, and he took a look over the kit and everything, and he said, "Hey, you know, I have something you might be interested in," and he told me about this. But we'll get into that in just a second. So the day that I met with James initially, I looked over the kit, looked over, well actually, sorry, back up. He looked over the kit. I looked over this AK, and, you know, I said, "Hey man, I really need to do some more research on it. Might be some issues with it, I don't know," and I'll explain all that in a minute. But when I met him that day, he said, "You know, I got some stuff you might want to have." He's like, "You can have it," which was super nice, by the way. Kudos to James. I greatly appreciate it. James had a couple of boxes of the Greek 8mm Mauser. Now, you guys have seen this stuff imported, and from what I understand, this is some pretty good stuff. You know, there might be some duds here and there, but on the whole, it's just some decent 8mm Mauser ammunition. I think these are two partial boxes. Greatly appreciate it, James. I will definitely shoot some of this stuff for sure. Additionally, he has something that most people don't have, and if you guys probably remember some of his past videos, I may put a link up here if I can. He had a VZ52 chambered in 7.62 by 45, and he actually had some of the ammunition and the stripper clips. Said, "Hey, you know, I don't have it anymore." He's like, "If you want it, you can have it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." So gave me some of the original 7.62 by 45 ammunition on stripper clips. Still looks phenomenal. Stripper clips, by the way, let's take a look at them if we can really quick. Looks like we got all of them are, I don't know how well you guys can see it. I don't know how well it's going to focus. I may have to put a picture in. All of them are ZV, Zulu Victor 61, except for one, which is a Bravo X-Ray November 57. Pretty cool to have them. I did not have any stripper clips for my VZ52s. Really wanted them. So something else he also gave me were two boxes of reloads. I think they're reloads. Some may be original. I'm not really sure yet, of 6.5 by 55. Now, as you guys well know, I do have a rifle chambered in that. I have a Swedish M96 Mauser, which is absolutely gorgeous. If you guys are interested in taking a look at that video, up here in the top right. Now, I probably should check all these to make sure they're safe to shoot. It was an older gentleman he had gotten these from. I may do some bullet pulls on some of them, weigh out the powder, you know, all that fun stuff. Just make sure that these are indeed safe to shoot, but we're talking 100 rounds right there of 6.5 by 55, which super happy about that. But what is probably going to steal the stage here is something that's even more desirable. Now, for you guys that have a keen eye, this is an M96 bayonet. They're very odd looking, as you can tell, and this one is actually in phenomenal shape. I will insert pictures into the top left so you guys can see the markings on this. But he said, "Hey, you know, I couldn't get the rifle, but I got the bayonet." When he found out I had an M96, he's like, "Well, this will probably do you more good than it will me." And I was like, "I will happily take it, sir." So kudos to James for all this stuff that he just freely gave me. I am very appreciative. I'm very happy about that. So let's move all those things aside and let's talk about this AK-74. Now, for you guys that have a keen eye, you will know that this is an AK-74 on the table. And initially, I was really skittish about this thing. So as you guys full well know, and you can reference Misha's replies to me where I commented on his channel recently about one of his more recent videos on the AK-74. As you guys know, in the past, there were issues with some of the Century-built Polish Tantals. They say that they were built with the wrong barrels, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right. Well, they were still safe to shoot for the most part. It's just, you know, probably had some keyholing going on, and in his opinion, much of that was blown way out of proportion. Now, that being said, a lot of people in the forums out there like to talk and say, oh, well, you know, the AK-74s that they built, the old Bulgarian ones, you know, they got the same issue. Not true. At least not this one. Well, let's just take a quick look at this. Of course, it is indeed unloaded, always unloaded, handled in a safe environment. These are, well, I'll just shut up and I'll show you, but these are the Bulgarian AK-74 kit builds that Century did. Now, the kicker is, back in the day, we didn't have all the wonderful receiver manufacturers, and back in the day, you know, you pretty much had, you had Nodak spud. There's a little bit of pitting here on the gas block. Nothing terrible, but you guys will notice this is, well, how well you can see it. The camera is terrible at focusing. That's one thing I hate about this camera. This is a Nodak spud NDS2. Of course, it is made by Century. Now, this is a completely mismatched parts kit. Nothing, absolutely nothing is matching. I'll insert some pictures in the top left, and you guys will see how there are some suspect rivets on here. And, you know, I'm really not sure about them. I'm probably going to re-rivet them. My only other main area of contention is where they kind of egged out this barrel pin hole, but the other side actually looks good. So let's take a closer look at this under the hood. Now, I did mention this is a parts kit build that Century did. It's not terrible. I think they're actually pretty decent kits, to be honest. I wouldn't say it's the smoothest by any means. But you guys can kind of get an idea of what's going on. Hopefully, if it'll focus down here in the barrel. If not, I'll just put some pictures in. Now, I do believe these were assembled with Green Mountain barrels. I don't think they're chrome lined, but also take another look in the top left. You'll see where I shot some cardboard with it. Never mind the round in the bottom left. That's when the cardboard kind of fell, so it looks like it keyholed, but it did not. The other 3 rounds that you'll see in that picture did indeed not keyhole. Now, you know, these were built with mismatched Bulgarian kits and scrubbed trunnions. It still does have the number 10 marking on the top of the trunnion here, so that's one plus. I do know at least that's the original Bulgarian part. Obviously, the receiver's not. And quite honestly, the back rivets don't look bad, but the front 6 rivets do look bad. So more than likely what's going to happen in that case is I'm going to take and grind these, punch them, and re-rivet it. You know, when you look at the rear of your carrier, you got a little bit of mushrooming or peening there, but it is by no means terrible. And when I say it's completely mismatched, it is completely mismatched. You have a 2885, 3009, 1823, and only God knows what that trunnion is because there is no marking on it, and it's been scrubbed. You can tell it's been scrubbed right there. But that being said, let's see if I can get this gas tube out. This thing's always a bit of a bear because of that spring on the back. You will also notice there are no other markings on this barrel, no markings actually, to indicate that this is indeed a Bulgarian barrel. It's my full suspicion that this is a Green Mountain barrel. I could be totally wrong. Here I am trying to take the handguard off and I still got other stuff attached. Wow, that's really smart. bear with me. That retainer is a pain in the tail. I usually have to pop it off with a screwdriver. There we go. But like I'm saying, there's no markings on it. None. Literally, absolutely no markings on that barrel. So it's my full suspicion that this is a Green Mountain barrel. Let's see, what else have we got to say about it? I know a lot of, I'm saying a lot. I know this rivet right here, the center support, these were prone to rusting out on the NDS2s. But this one actually looks pretty good as far as I can tell. I'm not overly concerned about it. But, you know, honestly, it's not a bad looking kit build. It just needs some TLC in my opinion. Now, he threw in also these mags. Got a Circle 10 and a 21. That's pretty cool, these AK-74 mags. Now, the other interesting part are these two. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You guys can see this is painted purple. I would imagine whoever had it tried to paint it this color to go along with the gun, but be that as it may, if you guys look ever so closely at these mags, look at those followers. You guys will notice those are Plum followers. Now, theoretically, these should be Plum mags, not this Plum. But they've been painted. You can also tell Plum, Plum. So these two have been painted. This one's been painted black. This one's been painted purple. I'm going to try to restore these to their original condition with some of this good old citrus strip. I've been told and I've read in the forums that it shouldn't damage bakelite, but I mean, quite honestly, this looks pretty bad. So I'm going to try to get this paint off here. I want to see what's underneath. I want to see what it looks like. Now, so I got the 4 mags, got the rifle, got some loose Silver Bear right there, as well as boxes of Monarch, ammunition, basically all of it, well, some of it lacquer coated, some of it poly coated. Now, sum total, I counted it all up, and it was approximately 250 rounds of 5.45 by 39. So this is what I traded James. Actually, he made the offer. You know, hey, I'll trade you this, the mags, ammo, all of it. Obviously, because he doesn't have need for the ammo anymore. So we traded it, basically even up. Traded him my M1A1 for this Century AK-74 on an NDS2 receiver. The only other bad thing I noticed about this is this pinhole right here for the rear sight. It doesn't look the best. I might have to redo that. But as it stands, I know I'm going to be redoing these 6 rivets. This may have to be redone. I'm really not sure yet, but the rest of it actually looks pretty decent. Of course, it does have a Tapco G2 trigger in it, which is a very nice trigger for this rifle. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think we got a pretty good deal. He may do a video on that M1A1. He cleaned it up quite a bit. When you guys saw it in my video, it was still really rusty. I hadn't attempted to do anything to it. And I mean, I watched him take a rag and take some oil, and the thing looked really good. Really, really good when he got done with it. I was actually shocked at how nice it looked. I don't know what he's going to do with it, but you know, he can do whatever he wants with it. It's his kit now. But anyway, I traded him that M1A1, as well as the barrel, the stock, all the stuff I'd bought for it. I traded that for all of this. I know you guys are probably saying, "Oh, you're absolutely crazy getting a Century AK-74." I don't necessarily think so. As far as I can tell, at least at 40 yards, this barrel's not keyholing. Not at all. So I think it was a good deal. Does it need some TLC? Yes, but it's going to be something good for me to practice my riveting skills on without fear of totally messing it up. I mean, at the end of the day, if I do, I'm just going to do a new receiver on it. And, you know, we'll do something about that. But you guys let me know what you think about this rifle and maybe our little trade in the comment section down below. Let me know if you have one of these rifles, what your experience is with it. I'm very curious to see that, whether or not you've got an all matching or a hodgepodge here. And if you haven't seen his video on his recent trip to Royal Tiger Imports, I'll put a link right up here. Go check it out, because he got what very few of us ever get, or got the opportunity that very few of us get, and that's to tour Royal Tiger's facility and shoot some cool guns. So I'm pretty envious about that. That's pretty cool. So kudos to James for making that content available, just to give you guys a little bit of an insight into the RTI warehouse. But anyway, make sure you guys go check his channel out, give him some love, make sure you subscribe. He's a fledgling gun tuber just like I was, and just go show him some love, because he's got some pretty cool things out there. But as always, big shout out to my subscribers, and big thank you for everyone just for tuning in, and thank you in advance for all your likes, your shares, your comments. And until next time, you guys have a great day.